Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Say Less podcast. My name is Will Donzella. I'm here joined with my friends Mo and Zach. Today, we're going to
Yo,
be talking about the NBA this past week and just a few topics of interest around the entire league. So, without further ado, let's get started. First thing we want to talk about today is which player is the most overrated player in the NBA this season?
Mama Deverson, you have the floor, bro. Go ahead.
Appreciate it, man. To be
Mm,
honest, I think this season, to me, underachieving and overrated are kind of the same thing or similar to me. So I'd say Anthony Davis is, since I think the hype around him being an MVP favorite along with Luca and the whole him getting robbed of Defensive Player of the Year last year, what he did in the playoffs for the Lakers to win the championship, and for him to come in and I would think I think he's even averaging below his career averages right now in assists, rebounds, points, steals, and blocks. I don't know about field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, but for sure, points, rebounds, and assists, he's underachieving a lot. And even guys like Julius Randle's having a better season than him in terms of stats. And Julius Randle's a good player. He's doing great for the Knicks, but I think that's not Anthony Davis' level. I think Jokic and Embiid are his level, and both of those guys are doing way better than he is. And I think those probably Jokic and Embiid are probably top 3, top 4 MVP rankings right now, to be honest. So I would say Anthony Davis for sure.
Yeah,
go ahead, Will. Go ahead, Will.
okay,
Go ahead,
all
Will.
right, yeah. I'll step up here.
Mm,
Um, uh, well, yeah. So Julius Randle better than AD in every one of the five major statistical categories is mind blowing because he he literally is like what 6'9", maybe 6'10". I don't know. Anthony Davis
Yeah,
7 feet tall at least. There's no
basically.
way. There's no way. Julius Randle has really developed as a player. When he came into the league, he
Facts,
had
facts.
no right hand. He was very one dimensional. I
He barely shoot
personally,
too.
yeah, barely shoot. I personally thought he would be eaten alive in the NBA because NBA players figure that out really fast.
All right.
But he's really adjusted. So that's just one avenue. We could go down the Jokic avenue. He's. I mean, you can make an argument that Jokic has been the best player in the NBA this year. I mean, you could make that argument. The Nuggets aren't performing like that, but Jokic is going all out. So um all this to say, I gotta agree with you. AD is the most overrated player this year. The Lakers have high expectations. LeBron has kind of seemed to want to give AD the keys to the franchise. He kind of seems to want to do that. And I
Right,
know
right.
LeBron's going to get his. I get it. Like you got players like that everywhere. Dame, KD, guys like that. They're going to Steph. They're going to get theirs. But like if
Exactly.
LeBron wants to give this franchise to AD, and AD just kind of is not taking it, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he can be the best player on the championship team for the Lakers. Like if they win the championship again, I would say last year he probably was. I understand LeBron got the MVP,
Maybe not in the
Finals MVP. Well,
finals,
not in the finals, but like for the
but
whole season,
playoffs, yeah, I'd say
he
AD was
he he
MVP.
was he was MVP.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't see him like it's like that it factor or the clutch gene, I guess. He doesn't seem to quite have it to me. Um, I don't know if that's just me being harsh, but he just doesn't seem to have what it takes to be the best player when it matters most on a winning team. So that's I got to go with AD.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Zachary.
I agree with both you guys. AD's been a bit, overrated this season, but obviously my pick is gonna be different. Personally, I'm gonna say James Harden from the Brooklyn Nets, bro. All I've seen recently from him is just mediocre play, to be honest with you.
What are you talking about, my
He
guy?
came
Like
into the league.
what mediocre plays he has? He's averaging 25, I think 11 assists and 8 rebounds a game, and he's shooting better than last year. I'm pretty sure. So How is that overrated, to be honest? And he's playing with
First
two
off-
other guys that average 20-plus points. Of course, he's not going to
So far.
score as much, man.
So far.
What do you
So
mean
far.
so far? He's probably been best Nets player. Maybe KD's been the best Nets player, but he's definitely up there, to be honest.
He's fine. He's good, but his time on the Houston Rockets was just short and not sweet, to be frank with you.
Well, are you gonna- are
He
you
had
gonna-
to play the Warriors, bros. I mean, nobody was being that Warriors squad.
Yeah, are you gonna say that? Are you gonna compare him like? Okay, I guess he maybe had a few bad series, but I mean, he won an MVP. So
I mean, he's won an MVP, and that's fine. He went out and balled out this season, and there's arguments that he could have won another year too. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
all I've seen
2015.
from Harden is multiple stars and no championships. Multiple teams built around him, a whole offseason, a whole offensive game plan built around him. He's a massive superstar and has only been to the finals one time. Multiple times into the playoffs. Made the playoffs multiple times with the Rockets. Chris Paul, Russ.
yeah, but we're talking about
I like
John Wall,
how the question was about this season
This
and
year,
not
bro.
career wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're looking
I'm
back
adding
on
on
his
to that.
career.
See, on
No,
John
no,
Wall.
you went a
Bro,
little
John
too
Wall
long.
this
I'm
season.
looking at
career.
I'm looking at his stats right now. 25, 6, and 11. He's playing
should-
on the Nets and he's averaging 11 assists.
What's his shooting percentages?
Let's see. So PR is not great. He's shooting 46%. So,
That's decent.
or I'm sorry, 48%. 48.
Okay, that's good.
That's pretty good.
Mhm.
I don't know what else you want him to do. He's playing 40 minutes a game. That's extreme.
Absurd.
I mean, that's
That's
a lot
absurd.
of minutes. He's shooting 40% from three. That's gonna do it. That's all right.
That's pretty
You
good.
can win a lot of games
Balling out.
shooting
He's balling
40.
out.
So he's close to being a 50, 40, 90 guy.
He's pretty
basically.
close. I mean, and we're still kind of early,
Yep.
but I don't know how you say Harden, bro.
Sounds like he just is a Harden hater, to be honest. Not gonna lie.
I am a Harden hater. You know what? I am a Harden hater. Until he can prove himself in the postseason, he's gonna be the most overrated player in the league.
Look.
He comes in the season, postseason every time.
Postseason wise,
does not show up.
There's that narrative of him not ever showing up is kind of false because he does show up most of the time. Okay, it's just that he's had his blunders in the postseason are just more famous, so that's why people just think there's a narrative. Like the one against the Spurs when they literally didn't have Kawhi and they still closed out the Rockets. I think it was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
That was really bad. Because I think he only shot like 11 shots and people thought he just gave up and stuff. Then, of course, the 27 missed straight threes against Golden State, Game 7, 2018. That's infamous too. 2019 against the Lakers. Not the Lakers. Who they played 2019? The Warriors. How they didn't have KD and they still ended up losing. And Chris Paul was healthy that whole series.
Yep, they should have won it easily.
Yeah, they should have won that series. And then 2020, they go up 1-0 against the Lakers. After that, they, I guess small ball is the reason they lost that series, not Harden, but you understand my point. So, to be honest, I don't know. I don't think he's overrated as a player. I just think he lacks leadership, to be honest.
I mean, I could understand maybe a little bit the overrated argument for previous years. This year,
I understand.
I don't think so, and I don't even think you can argue that James Harden is overrated. Like in general, in the regular season, there's no way you can say it. It's strictly a postseason argument, and I guess that would be included in it because I don't know. I would define players more so by how they play in the playoffs. Like that. That's just me. You guys know me. I'm very big on if you don't perform when it matters most, you might as well just not have
just
that
good.
regular
You're
season.
Not great.
Yeah, because that's where you're separated. So I could argue I can understand that argument for previous years in the playoffs. This year, if this man does not show up in the playoffs with this team, okay, I'll give it to you then that he's gonna be up there. But I just don't see that happening. I don't. He's
There's
too good.
yeah,
I
he's
don't
too
see him
good.
showing up. I don't see him showing up on the playoffs this season. To be honest.
You serious playing with KD and Kyrie?
Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it right now. Bold take. I do not see the Brooklyn Nets making out of the Eastern Conference.
I mean, I buy that. I agree with that personally.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make it out of the East. What I would be surprised is James Harden continues his playoff struggles. To be honest,
He's not going to
and
be.
another,
He is. He.
I
Sorry, go
think
on.
no. If he's playing with Kyrie and KD, then he's not.
There's
He's gonna put up good numbers
there's no
regardless.
way. Yeah.
If he doesn't put up good numbers, then that's not good.
You
But
you
I think
have
the Nets-
yeah. You have
I
to
think the
think,
Nets-
bro. No. Listen to me, because you
Right.
need some education here. He
No,
played
sir.
he
No, sir.
played on a team that the entire offense revolved around him. Everything.
right, yeah,
Everything, bro. So
That's
everybody
facts.
knew who to key on. Now you got KD, who some will argue is the best scorer ever. There's no
Yep.
keying on James Harden now. Some people argue James Harden's the best scorer ever. Some will
Nope.
argue Kyrie. I mean, you got three of the best scorers ever. There's no way they're keying in on Harden like they do. There's no way.
Nope.
And he's gonna hit shots because it's just gonna be more fluent. It's gonna be more because this offense is not gonna be like D'Antoni's, where it's just you revolve around Harden, and everything's kind of forced. It has to be Harden or nothing.
Even though D'Antoni's is on Steve Nash's coaching staff, by the way.
Yes, but he's not making the offense, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny how he's.
It is ironic. It is ironic,
Yeah.
though. It is ironic.
To answer the question, I forgot. I mean, I don't know if this is overrated, but this is just like players that haven't lived up to their big contracts. I think Kemba Walker for the Celtics has been massively underperforming. Not just this year, but just ever since he signed with Boston. That man has not lived up to his contract at all.
Facts.
Him and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton
Oh God,
has been paid number 2,
Facts.
not even sidekick money. This is superstar franchise money, and he's
Facts.
putting up the same numbers. To be honest,
Yep.
I think he's one of the reasons why the Bucks are not making it out of the East, even though they're really good in the regular season. I think when it comes to playoffs, Giannis's game is not revolved around playoff games. To be honest, at least he needs a Kobe, because I think he's a Shaq, just like a skinny Shaq. To be honest, that can probably shoot way better than Shaq.
Yeah,
but
he needs to take Budenholzer to court and let him guard the best defender.
And the coach is a problem.
Team.
The coach is a problem too, man.
The coach is the biggest problem for
the coach he's a good coach, but I don't know, his decision making with defense and minutes and stuff, I think has been affecting the team. So I think Kemba and Middleton. I would say Tobias Harris, but he's been playing good this season. I still don't think he deserves. I think, what was it, 170, 150?
Well, yeah. If you're going by contracts, I can make an argument for like 5 or 6 players.
I'm just saying he's getting paid the same amount as Ben Simmons, and I don't think he's as good as Ben Simmons.
Well, let me ask you guys this, based on what you said about Kemba. Does Kemba's underperforming have anything to do with the fact that he's now kind of a second fiddle? Because I would say he's first fiddle on every other team he was on. Now he's got Jason Tatum and maybe Jaylen Brown. I don't know. But like,
I would say Jaylen Brown is just the reason this year that he hasn't been performing. I mean, he was out with a knee injury, so that's another big part of it. But I think Jaylen Brown, with his stock is going up. He's a way better player. So
true.
I don't know. Maybe that's something Brad Stevens has to think about. Danny Ainge. Maybe they have to trade him. I think they should trade him. To be honest, he's not been playing a point guard role. He's just a scorer on the team because Marcus Smart is the one that kind of runs the offense.
Yes.
So, I don't think he fits good with Boston. I don't know. I feel like he's either going to get traded or he's going to leave.
They should be title contenders with Kemba and Tatum and Brown, to be honest.
They should have made the Eastern Conference final. I mean, they should have beat the Heat last year.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, buddy. You always say that the Celtics are going to win the finals, huh?
They're so deep. And Tatum is only 19 years old, so
they should be there.
I
mean,
when they had Kyrie, dude, I really thought they would beat the Bucks. I think that was 2019. I really thought they were going to beat the Bucks, man.
All right. Bold take. Brooklyn Nets not making the finals. Zach,
Okay.
131-21.
I buy it. I'm gonna agree with that. Now let's go
Who
back to
beats them then?
I don't know. There's multiple teams in the East that I just think could outperform on it.
Celtics are not beating them.
I think the Celtics maybe
No.
could beat them.
the
I
Magic.
think the only team that can beat them is probably the Sixers.
The Magic.
Fine.
The
I
Magic.
think
I don't think
Sixers.
I think the
Sixers
Heat, I think
without
the Heat
injuries.
could do well.
The Heat are not
Yep.
beating the Nets, man.
He could.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think
There's a lot
last
of dark horses. There's a lot of dark horses in the East that can come on.
they don't match up well with the Nets.
If the Nets get Drummond, then I'm gonna say they're going to the
Well,
finals.
obviously, right. Yeah.
I mean-
but if the Nets don't show up, if Harden does not show up in the playoffs again, and they don't have a solid leader in the playoffs, and their bench is lacking, they're gonna get bounced.
Of
That's
course,
a lot
yeah.
of ifs. You just named a lot of. You
But those
basically
are all-
just
those
laid
are
out
all-
the way for every team to lose.
Those are all massive problems though on the Nets.
I think their biggest issue is defense.
You think leadership is an issue right now on the Nets?
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that,
You don't. What do you mean by that though?
bro. Because you got Durant and Kyrie that don't want to be leaders, or Kyrie
They-
kind of wants to be, and then Durant just is low key. He doesn't really lead until he needs.
I think that was I think that was a fair point until they got Harden. I think Harden on the
I don't
team.
think Harden could lead them.
Yeah, but I think them as just a trio, just them together, I think is good. Maybe not like vocally, but I think they're gonna lead by example, that type of thing.
They are definitely
true.
not vocal leaders. They're
Okay,
not.
yeah,
Right.
well, yeah,
They
Yeah,
are
they have-
watch me kind of players and
Yeah,
feed off my energy
that's
because
true. Yeah,
I mean Durant is a let's just face it, he's kind of like a drama queen, and
Right.
yeah.
If they can have big veterans step up though
so is Kyrie
off the
yes.
bench.
They don't
make
have
good-
veterans.
Good
They
play,
don't,
play,
bro.
right.
They
don't.
give
so.
up a lot. Here's what they need. They need a center and they need defense. They need defense.
Facts.
Oh
Did-
yeah,
Who did they just get?
the guy Iman Shumpert,
Amon Shumpert. That could
who's a good
help,
defender.
but they need
Yeah,
a
he's a
center.
huge help.
He,
He's-
he's,
yeah,
he's,
they need a
he's
big man. That's
deal.
the only thing
But
they
they
need.
need a big man, dude.
Yeah.
Without a big man, even if they make the finals, bro, and let's just say the Lakers make it out, assuming, dude, Anthony Davis is gonna have a cakewalk
It's
against.
gonna be a
Yeah.
Rockets series all over again. To be honest,
Facts.
And I do think they could win, but it's just like,
Mhm.
I mean, you see, look at the past two games they played where they give up, they score 150 points in like the past two games, both.
Yep.
But they're
Mhm.
giving up almost 150. You can't
Yep.
give up. I promise you, if you ever find an NBA team that gives up 150 points a game and they win the finals, I'll retire. I'm gonna just retire from life. That's
They've
it.
already lost. They've already lost to the Cavs twice, and they just lost to the Wizards tonight too. So
Yep.
you got to come up with defense.
I
Yep,
feel like
for
they're
sure.
gonna be that team that only loses to terrible teams, and then when they play good teams,
they have played good against like the top 5 teams in each conference.
Just
this
the
year.
way I saw with the bubble when the postseason last year, so many teams came out and had quality minutes off the bench. So if that happens, and the Nets don't have quality minutes off the bench, they're gonna get bounced so quick.
That's true. That's true.
yes, because you can't have Durant, Harden, and Kyrie playing like what they play
Right.
now, 40 minutes a night. I don't think that's sustainable. And-
Yeah. Especially for Durant, I think they didn't watch his minutes, to be
Well,
honest.
yeah, Durant just came off an Achilles tear.
Yeah.
That man needs to be. He should be cutting it slim this season, the regular season. Okay.
Yeah.
And he kind of is. He
He is sitting out games, so that's good. At least they're doing
But-
something.
Which I hate. I hate that so much.
I'm arguing
but-
though. He's having one of the best comebacks an athlete can ever have from an injury though.
Yeah, especially off Achilles tear, man.
Reminds me
Oh,
of that Adrian Peterson season when he came back after the ACL tear, I think, and went
Yeah.
off for 2,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta.
Almost beat the record.
Mhm.
I mean, Durant could be an MVP candidate.
Right.
He
except for
already
the
is.
fact- I just don't think he has any shot because he's on the Nets. I think that almost excludes him. I would
Yeah.
say everybody outside of like LeBron and AD will be excluded if they're on a super team. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, bro.
AD's definitely not winning MVP this year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That-
And
that's a
Luka,
good-
to be honest, my two two favorites right now are Jokic and Embiid.
Right.
Okay,
Those are
that's
top two for
that's
me.
what I want to know.
Mhm.
Like, who's gonna win MVP this year, based on
I don't know
right
because
now?
there's a lot of teams underperforming right now. To be honest, so I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait a while until I already see teams' final form. As
Facts.
Yeah, we're
I'll
only
probably say.
16 games in. What is it?
Yeah.
72 this year, right?
Yeah,
I think
72.
so. Yeah.
I wonder if
Yeah.
they're gonna switch it to 72 forever. I wonder if that'll be a permanent thing.
They probably will. To be honest,
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see Luka win. I think it would be
Yeah.
pretty good for basketball if Luka Doncic wins an MVP.
If he steps up and the Mavs start playing better, then yeah.
He
the
needs
Mavs need a
bro.
trade. Need a trade for a better guard, a star guard.
Yeah.
So I don't. I think they're like a mid-table team in the West. I don't think they're
Right.
I really thought
championship contender.
they had a legitimate shot against the Clippers last year.
I mean,
I
they
guess
did.
I guess
Yeah.
they did have a shot. You know, Kristaps.
They had
down,
Porzingis. Yeah.
but I don't know. But I shoot. I really don't know. I don't have an opinion really yet on the MVP. I
Neither do
guess
I know.
it's
too
too hard to
close.
say. NBA's
Too
been
many
kind
teams
of
not playing. Yeah.
it's just been kind of whack this year. I mean, the whole COVID thing.
Yeah. A lot of guys are sitting out just for being around
Does this
COVID.
year even count? Like, does it really count?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna count it. If there's sports on, I'm gonna
I don't
count it regardless.
I don't know. I
If
think
there's sports on, I'm counting it.
I don't know, man. I mean, college football had its issues.
That's what I was just gonna bring up.
I think baseball is probably the biggest one. I mean, they literally cut 100 games off the schedule, bro. 100 games, man.
I was gonna bring up the college football thing. We think about the playoff, and I'm an Ohio State fan.
You know
So
that, Rudy.
obviously you guys know that.
Thanks for the.
And
Yeah,
so-
you also got a hat on right now.
Yeah. Well, maybe they don't know that, so whatever. But so Ohio State was missing like 33 players in one of the playoff games or whatever. That, to me, that affects the outcome. Now, granted, I think they
Fact.
won. I think that was against Clemson, but like that affects the outcome. So let's say we get down to the end of the season, right, and we get to the conference championships, and let's just say it's Brooklyn and the Lakers on the other side, and you got Lakers, Clippers, blah blah blah, Brooklyn, Celtics. Let's just say, for the heck of it, Durant, Harden have COVID, and then Kawhi and PG have COVID, and that makes those series pretty one-sided. Like, and it totally ruins it to me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the problem I have with this season is because with the bubble they literally have 0 cases. So to be honest, people didn't really have a strong argument for asterisks. But this season, with the way, I mean, literally the Wizards didn't play for 2 weeks. The Heat didn't play for like a week and a half. So, like, what if something happens like that during the playoffs? What are they gonna do? Does NBA have a plan for it? I mean, if you have franchises losing their star players in playoff series and they end up getting smoked, then what's the
For real? Yeah.
what's the reading?
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't quite understand why they didn't do something like the bubble. I guess that's not a realistic thing with
I don't think players will survive.
Yeah, with all
another
the
season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I do understand that, but like that's a whole different question. Is when are they going to play these games? Do you guys actually know? Because I don't.
I don't know.
But the Wizards missed
know.
like eight games.
The Wizards have
when
8 or 9 games they have to play.
Like, when are they going to be made up? Or are they just not?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think is going to happen is they won't be.
I mean, if
there's like a whole week at the end of the season, then to make up games, that's gonna
like the emergency days we had in school. Those extra days at the end of the year.
Yep, emergency snow days. Oh hell nah.
Bro, that's not.
What if they delay the start of the playoffs for teams?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Because what if the Wizards have a chance to make the playoffs and they have those games to be played?
And they bust their ass and they get in and then they get whomped. That'll be terrible.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it'd still be worth it to them, to be honest, just for them to get a
Exactly.
chance. I think they deserve a
Yeah.
chance, a fair chance.
Right.
Everybody's gonna. That's what the complaint's gonna be. Is you didn't give us a fair chance, and
Right.
it's you have to like Dame last year. You remember in the bubble, like
Yeah.
what was I forget his argument, but he's like I'm not going to the bubble if we don't have a shot or whatever, something like
Yeah.
that. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I remember.
Um,
Yeah.
But like that's what they're gonna say. There's like, who cares if we're not gonna play or whatever. You know, the ones that really care about winning. So maybe there are guys out there that don't. I don't know, but I'm
Right.
gonna
Definitely.
assume that they all want to win and they all want a shot. Because no, you're
Mhm.
not gonna ask a team, right, the A seed in the each conference. You're not gonna ask them again, and they'll be like, "Hey, are you gonna win this series?" They're not gonna be like, "No, we have no shot." Everybody thinks they
Right.
have a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Everybody does
just-
have a shot.
and
Everybody
everybody
does
does
have
have
a
a
shot, to be
shot.
honest.
Yeah, exactly. So you know,
Except for the Pistons.
I would be curious to see.
Those guys are just garbage. Just garbage. I'll give them the credit for beating the Lakers, but they're still the worst team in the NBA.
T Rose, what?
Relax,
Ah.
he's getting traded. Don't worry, he's coming back to Chicago or he's going to the Clippers, so it's all good.
You hope.
I hope.
Better
I
hope.
pray. Inshallah.
Bro, if D Rose goes to the Clippers, that team, dude, they're so stacked. They have to.
I don't think they need D Rose because I think Reggie Jackson is good enough, to be honest. But I just, as a D Rose fan and diehard fan and supporter for my whole life or his whole career, I'd love to see him have a chance to win a ring, to be honest. So
Absolutely.
He deserves it.
he deserves it for
Yeah.
real.
I mean,
Facts.
I gotta be honest. D
It'd be
Rose
dope
is a top
Mhm.
10 player of all time if he doesn't get hurt. I don't think it's even a question.
It's not a question. It's not a question.
I think
No, he
he's
is.
a top 6 point guard for sure.
Right now.
I think
Yeah, absolutely.
no. I mean,
Oh,
if he
if he
didn't
doesn't
get
get
injured,
hurt,
I think he had a real shot at being a top 6, top 5 point guard all time. Top 10
Mhm.
player, I don't know because
He'd
to
be
be honest,
elite.
he'd be up there. He'd be up there.
I'm gonna base it off what we saw in
Yeah,
his
yeah, for
prime,
sure.
which was what, 3 years or so.
2 years.
Hey,
It wasn't even 3.
I
It
can
was
make
2
an
years.
argument that he wasn't even in his prime. I can
He
make that
literally,
argument.
he literally
Absolutely.
won an MVP his 3rd season in NBA.
Yeah.
That's not his prime, man.
I don't think it was, but I'm gonna base it off that and then look at
Yeah.
Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the best. I would say we'd all agree he's the best point guard in the NBA, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
And
I
I
hope
would
so.
say, yeah, for it.
I hope. I should hope so. I hope so.
Relax, bro. He's the best. He's the best.
He's
We
the
could be
best.
moving
He's
some
the best.
furniture.
I
We
understand.
could be moving some furniture if folks disagree. You know.
No. After
Bro.
what Dame did to the Bulls, I don't consider him anything no more.
Good.
But
Good.
like we'd agree, Steph's probably gonna be somewhere in the top 10, maybe top 15. Probably he at the end of his career he might be up there. I'm just
He already
Oh,
is
yeah.
top 15. He already is top 15.
So I'm gonna say that Derrick Rose, who didn't miss out on all the years
Absolutely. Yeah.
that Steph did, you know,
Yeah.
assuming he didn't, I gotta say he's gonna be better than Steph. That's
Hold
just
on, Will.
Mhm.
So Zach, can you admit on the air right now that D Rose would have been better than Steph?
I think he would have been
Career-wise?
better than Steph. I think he would have been better than Steph.
So you think he would have had a better career than Steph?
Yes. Not as maybe not as influential, but
I
definitely
didn't care about influence. I'm just talking about the game itself, man.
he would have had a better career. To be honest.
Thank you. That's
Wow,
all I had to hear.
I think.
And we have this recorded. We have this
There's
recorded,
always
so that's all I had to hear.
there's always like I feel like right now there's like an elite point guard tier, and that's like Curry and Lillard. And then there's a good tier, and then there's a lot of point guards in that good tier that aren't elite.
Yeah,
I think
point guards.
Rose
I think
definitely would have been in the elite category.
It's the deepest position in
Absolutely.
basketball.
We're in a point guard era right now, for real.
Facts, for real.
I mean, you got these point guard matchups. I mean, even look at Jamal Murray, somebody that kind of flew off the radar last year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I kind of
went to the bubble and went off.
Yeah, and I mean
So
he's playing
deep.
well this year too. He's not bad, but that's like I would consider Jamal Murray like a lower end good point guard. Like he's good,
Right.
but like he's good.
He's
like
definitely
he's
in that
really
good tier. He's definitely in that good tier.
No, I know, but he's really good. That's how good the position is. Like,
Yeah.
I would consider him like maybe 7th, 8th, somewhere in there. I don't know. I'm just guessing off the top of my head.
I mean, he's definitely top 10
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, but like
Right.
that's how deep the position. I don't think you can say that about any other position.
I think
Especially
shooting guard is the most
the
not
weakest.
least talented, but like
The gap,
think, like,
the gap between
I think the gap
best
between
is,
1
Yep.
and 3 and 3 and to 5 is just the gap is just.
you got
Yeah,
James Harden, Klay
I mean, you got
Thompson,
James
and
Harden number 1, and then Klay Thompson number 2.
after that,
I can't even name
who am
point
I
guards
thinking?
right
Is
now.
SGA? You can consider
After
I
that,
say he's a
it's
point
just
guard.
just
I mean,
secondary, right?
Zach LaVine, I guess, is up there now. I say for sure he's a top 5 shooting guard in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Zach
Um,
LaVine ain't. He's not those point guards. Like that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the gap is just
We're in the
huge.
position. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Point guards are just. But here's another argument I make. I don't think you can build a championship team around a point guard where that's your best player outside of Steph Curry.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, we're in a positionless point guard era right now, so I don't know. Anything can happen.
Mohammed,
So you think the traditional point guard you can't build a championship team around
I'm gonna say right now.
right
And,
now?
well, maybe even historically, because outside of Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry, what team? And I honestly am asking because I might be forgetting. What teams won championships where their point guard was easily their best player? I'm like genuinely asking. Maybe the Lakers, right? But you could make an argument Kareem.
Right.
Okay, but Magic was literally a small forward.
Okay.
Okay. Well, okay, he was a point guard. He came in the league as a point guard. He played his career as a point guard. But if we're talking about like a traditional point guard, you're talking about like what 6'3" and under, quick, can pass, can shoot whatever.
Steve
have to
Nash
argue.
is a good example.
I'd also have to argue that back in the day, a lot of emphasis was put on centers. So the league's changing now. So
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah,
more point
and
guards
that's
are
why
rising
I
up
was
to
kind of trying to
championships.
emphasize it on today, like more so right now, because I don't
Right.
think you could outside of Steph Curry. Westbrook hasn't done it. Kyrie, Dame. I mean, these are elite players, great players.
Yep.
But I mean, Kyrie wanted to be a leader, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
What happened? I mean, what happened?
He proved he wasn't. Tried to prove he was, and he proved he wasn't.
Maybe that's a quality of his. But like, even you can make the argument with Steph Curry, that team was just ridiculously loaded and got fortunate that they played a Cavs team that had no
Injuries.
Kyrie and no
Yeah.
Kevin Love.
Yep.
So I just don't think that's the position to win. While I think it's the deepest position, I don't think it is the position that gets you to a championship.
But there's always situations like Giannis where if he had a Steph Curry type player,
Yeah,
instead of a Chris Middleton
but Giannis is the best player. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A great point guard always helps. I mean, like
I think point guards are the most. I think they make the difference in terms of like team chemistry. Because if you have a floor general type point guard,
Right.
I think that opens up like I don't know how to say it, but like the game for like maybe their small forward or their center or whatever. But
yeah, like a Chris Paul. I would want Chris Paul on any of my teams.
I don't know if Jerry West was a point guard, but what he did with Wilt. Wilt didn't win anything with 76ers. He came to the Lakers with Jerry West. No, they won in 72. Oscar Robertson with Kareem. Magic with Kareem, obviously. I know John Stockton, Karl Malone didn't win a championship, but they went to back-to-back finals. Too bad they had to play the GOAT. But if they weren't playing Michael Jordan, they would have been champions.
Right, they would have cleaned up for real.
But Kobe and Shaq. I know Kobe's not a point guard, but guards, I guess.
Yeah, the guard big man combo is like was such a thing back then. Nowadays,
exactly.
I don't know if it's that big a deal now. I can't really think of many. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert.
I guess Murray and Jokic.
Ben Simmons, Embiid.
Yeah, Ben Simmons, Embiid. I think Ben Simmons and Embiid could be the next Magic and Kareem, to be honest. They have the potential, but
Ben Simmons can't shoot for his life.
Magic couldn't shoot, but
Magic
developed. Actually, He developed his shot over the years, so he
yeah.
actually hit a three. But they literally have like the body frames are just like Kareem and Magic, so it's just like I think they could have potential to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Embiid I feel like he just needs to want it more. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
for
if
sure.
that's just
Yeah.
me.
Dude, that's the problem with like 90% like the young talent in here. Like when we're talking about like yesterday about the talent between like the past and now, the past and the future. I mean the present. We said that guys like Embiid and Simmons and all these young guys are super talented, way talented than past players, but it's just the work ethic and their mentalities not up there. So that's why they don't really achieve their potential. So I feel like Embiid's a prime example of that, to be honest.
Right.
He's still got time.
No, he has time. Yeah.
He's super injury prone. That man's got a. That's one of his issues. Like he was having that issue like last year, maybe a few years ago, with health and staying in shape and stuff. That man he has to be on top of himself because he's what 7'3", 7'2", whatever.
I don't think so. I think it's 7'1".
7'1". I could be thinking of someone else, but like he's super big, right?
Yeah.
You can't be that big and not
and eat cheeseburgers before
good shape.
games during shoot around.
You can't. It's gonna kill you. It's gonna ruin your career. It just will.
Yeah.
And he makes money, so.
Nope. That's the thing. They all get these big endorsements and stuff. So I always feel like their approach to the game is not 100%.
Just
Mike said it on Oprah in 05, man. You gotta watch that interview. He said that he gave all these guys everything they want before they even start playing in the league, and they don't really do nothing because their mentality is not up there.
They're entitled at that point.
They're entitled, yeah.
They're entitled to their money. That's a good thought, though. Like, how much of the league do you think cares more about money? Like, do they want money more than they want to win? Is that a mindset players have?
I think I don't know how to explain this perfectly, but I think they want to win, but like I feel like when things get tough, they give up easily, and then they think, you know what, it doesn't really matter. I'm making $25 million this year off of my contract and whatever I have in endorsements. I don't care if people bash me for losing this or whatever. I did my best. That type of thing. Like if they lose, they don't want to get back up and fight again. That type of thing.
You mean like joining a 73-9 team when you?
Gosh. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Shit. Damn. Okay. I got it.
On a new system.
You got something to say?
Already an established leader. Was not the best player on that team his entire.
Oh God! Here we go.
I hope you're not talking about who I think you're talking about, Zach. So let's relax with whatever you're saying, bro.
I'm just saying,
Are you talking about that dude, the Slim Reaper?
Oh, we're just getting a little bit off topic.
No.
It's an off topic.
It sounds like we're getting into the ops topic right now because you're talking like an op.
Oh God. Next question.
I don't even want to. No, I'm mad at you now. I can't get over this.
I mean, it seems like guys that blew 3-1 leads need help. To be honest, it sounds like they need
relax.
I'm just saying.
KD did it first, to be honest, and he left and got help. So
I guess, but Steph did it in the finals, so that's way worse. And
I don't know. I seem to remember 2 final series where certain players didn't show up in back-to-back game 3s, and a certain individual had to essentially single-handedly carry the team to a win.
I
could be wrong. I seem to remember.
I mean, it doesn't matter because KD's the one that has the finals MVPs from those series. So,
dude, I guess he might have been the best player. That's crazy.
Sounds like
that's a biased argument.
And they lost in 2019 because they didn't have a certain someone on the court.
They didn't have the whole. They didn't have Clay or KD on the
No,
court.
no. Clay
No,
got hurt in game
they went
5
down
or
3-1 with
6.
Clay though. That's the thing. They went down
But they
3-1 with
would have
Clay.
came. They would have came back with if Clay
No, don't.
didn't tear.
Oh yeah, and they
No.
would have came back in 2016 if Steph wasn't hurt and Bogut wasn't hurt and Draymond didn't get suspended in Game 5, right?
Obviously,
They wouldn't have
obviously,
came back.
right?
They would have just
Obviously,
won.
they
3-1.
would have came. Right, they would have won. Right.
Yeah, man, 3-1 lead is a 3-1 lead, my guy.
I don't
That's
know,
all I gotta
bro.
say.
Draymond had like 30-something points in Game 7, so I think he
Yep.
was pretty good.
I think
He might have
Draymond,
been Finals MVP actually.
and they won
If
that
they won
game. Yeah,
If they won that game.
if Steph could hit a clutch 3 like
I'm
other
just
people.
saying it's Steph's system. It's his team.
You're right, bro.
It may have been. It doesn't make him the best player.
Steph was 1-1 in the finals, and his first win was with LeBron. Was against LeBron without Kyrie and Kevin Love. And then when LeBron got Kyrie and Kevin Love, he stepped to a 3-1 lead. So I think KD was a system, to be honest.
I mean, KD was the system when you wanted to win.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what it was.
No.
I mean, it sounds like those finals championships were a fluke to me. But
Which
what do I know?
Championships? Which finals?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, Zach.
What?
Zach,
What?
if
I'm beside myself now. But
let's see. I mean, what if the Spurs? Let's see. In 2005, when they're playing the Pistons, what if the Spurs had Tim Duncan and Ginobili go down?
You what you can say what if you want what if you want, but they still won.
All right, that's fine. I mean, you're the same guys.
That's fair.
What if you want, but they won?
All right, man.
That's fair. It doesn't
you
make.
Say what if, you can say what if every season if you wanted to. You can make an argument every season. What if?
I could say about last year.
But I make a fair point that they would have lost. They would have lost that series, and you know it too. So.
I mean, I could say the what if Klay Thompson.
I mean,
and KD were
LeBron
there last year,
legit went up 2-1 on them, and the difference in that series was Iguodala being a starter, hence why he won Finals MVP. So it proves my further point that Steph was, not obsolete, but he was not really a factor.
He held LeBron to what, 35 and 30. He had multiple triple doubles.
Triple double. I think he averaged a triple double.
I think he averaged a triple double at 35 points. No,
he's pretty close.
I mean, did you see the numbers when Iguodala was guarding him?
Have you seen the Warriors' numbers when Steph isn't on the floor and when he is on the floor?
No, that's not the point.
When he's not in the game.
That's not the point. That's not that. I'm talking about that series specifically.
I'm just saying. I think personally, they
I
don't
mean,
win any
if
championships.
LeBron doesn't have his 2 best teammates and he's up 2-1, and then Steve Kerr makes the lineup change and putting Iguodala in the starting lineup, and then that's when they start.
It's a lineup change.
It sounds like it's a difference maker in the series. It doesn't sound like Steph was a difference maker. I don't care if he was on the floor or he wasn't.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying, man.
Because he was on the floor the whole time. He's going to do his thing every night. So.
Next topic, please. I made my point.
Okay.
The evidence is out there for me my favor.
So let's talk about the Clippers. Ultimate meltdown last year. Ultimate meltdown. Like
top 5 all time. Top 5 all time for sure.
How about this year though? Can they get it done? Because I got to be honest with you, I feel like they're flying under the radar. Last year, the spotlight was on them. Everybody had them to pick. Now it's like I think they're just kind of thrown to the side.
Yeah.
So does that benefit them? I think it might. But can they get it done? Do you guys trust them to?
I think personnel-wise, they're better than last year. I honestly think that. I think Ibaka is better than a Harrell. So the fact that Montrezl Harrell, when he went to the Lakers, I was like, dang, that's messed up on his part. But I was like, dang, Lakers got the Clippers' best bench player. So 6th man of the year. And they had Dennis Schroeder, who most people, well, not most people, but a lot of people thought he deserved 6th man of the year. So they basically had the 2 best bench players last season on the same team.
Right.
So I was like, okay, the Lakers low-key look like the favorites again. But the Clippers, then Ibaka started with the Clippers. I'm like, okay. So they lost Harrell and they replaced him with Ibaka, who's better defender. He's bigger. He can shoot. the 3,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
they re-signed everybody else. I mean, they re-signed Paul George. Kawhi is yet to re-sign, but they're the best 3-point shooting team in the league this year so far. And I think without the pressure and the whole hype around them, I think they're not really thinking too much of themselves. And I think, like Kawhi said, I think it's a good what happened last year against the Nuggets was what do you say? I don't know. He said something about like
Wake
leaves
up
a bad
call.
it's wake up call, leaves a bad taste in your mouth, so they're coming back with vengeance this year.
Yeah,
So
they can learn from their mistakes and right, and
Yeah.
make the most of the underdog story and not talk and just
Right.
go out and get their job done. They'll definitely
Yeah.
get it done for
for
sure.
real. I think right now I still have the Lakers better than them, just in
Right.
terms of that matchup. But the Clippers keep
No.
playing like this, and Paul George shows up in an important game. I mean, he shows. I think the whole narrative of him not being a good playoff performer is kind of whack because he realistically has like 3 bad playoff games. There was one in Indiana. I forgot what year it was. It's like 2014. So one with the OKC, and then there's obviously the one in Game 7 last year. But other than that, I saw like this.
He was trash. He was trash the series against the Mavericks, bro. He was
Yeah, he
trash
was
that
trash.
series.
Almost just last year in general, he was
Right.
bad, except for a couple
Right.
games. But there's this graphics I saw that he's actually has better playoff numbers, like from rebounds, assists, shooting, all that, better than Damian Lillard. And Dame's famous for his game-winning buzzer beaters, obviously. So
Mhm.
I think the whole narrative of him being a bad playoff performer is a little too far-fetched.
We'd all love to see a clip an LA Western Conference Finals,
Oh yeah, for sure.
right? And if the Clippers can lock in and get it done, it'd be amazing.
I have faith in Kawhi and showing up. I think Game 7
Mhm.
last year was the first time I've seen Kawhi not look like Kawhi. But other than that, I still have faith. I still trust him to show
he
up.
was horrible in the last 3 games in the second halves. He was terrible, but so was PG. They were both horrible. Now I remember.
I also think Doc Rivers has something to part
Yes.
a part to play in that as well.
Well,
I think
is it a coincidence that he's been on 3 teams that have
it's not
blown
going through 1
3-1
leads?
leads? I mean that's
It can't be. It can't be.
But I did tell you guys last year. I told you in the playoffs. I was like, something's fishy about the Clippers.
Right.
I did
off.
not think they took the season seriously. I really didn't. I did not think they were ready. So how much of a difference is it going to make this year that Kawhi and PG aren't really resting as much, that they're showing up to practices, or so it seemed. We're still early, but like this kind of stuff, attitude changes basically, where they're holding players accountable now. Is that going to make a big difference in the locker room?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Yep.
that was one of the big issues last year. Obviously, with the reports saying that guys like Harrell are having a problem with PG and Kawhi getting all the special treatment, and then you see the way Montrezl Harrell performed in the playoffs. You could tell it had an effect on the team, obviously, and I think the locker room. There's reports saying that there was a lot of shouting and people calling each other out and stuff like that. And obviously, if there's a bad vibes hovering over the team in terms of chemistry, then obviously they're not going to be performing to the highest level that they can be. So I think that's definitely a factor. So I think this year, the fact that they're actually playing as a team, I think it'll make a difference in the playoffs.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm shaky kind of on the Clippers.
I'm not sold on them yet, but I'm just saying they look different this year. Different as in a good different, like a better.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
but then again, it's the only regular season, so we won't see the true Los Angeles Clippers until the playoffs in July.
Yep.
That's what my point was going to be. That you don't know until it matters, because when the chips are down, that's when you start seeing how everybody plays.
Yep.
Like playoff basketball, playoff sports in general, there's nothing like it. Like that's where you get an idea of who is who, like who's real and who was just faking it till they make it.
Yep.
You get a few teams every year in playoffs that are just kind of, they're just there. They just got in. They had no business being there. So
It'll be interesting to see, especially what they do in the playoffs this year, because Kawhi didn't sign the extension like PG did. So you never know if something happens like what happened last year. Kawhi might not even come back to the team.
Right.
that would be a big blow to the Clippers because they traded like 9 picks or something. They don't have a first round pick for like a couple years.
Yeah. Yep.
So and they gambled all of that to get PG.
Yep.
So that Kawhi would come, obviously,
Mhm.
and if you gamble all that and then you keep PG, who was clearly the second fiddle of the two, like in terms of who you wanted Kawhi, but
Yeah.
it took PG to get Kawhi. So you also wanted PG, but you didn't want him as much as Kawhi. So if you lose out on Kawhi, 2 years later, and you gave up all that, not to mention you gave up SGA, who is, I think we could all agree, turning out to be pretty
Blossomed.
good.
Absolutely blossomed. Right.
So
Facts.
I think that would be a big blow to them, and that would be where I might start looking at ownership or GM and be like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
It's a little strange.
Mhm.
I think the Nets did a similar thing.
Yeah.
A very
Ridiculous.
similar thing.
So the Nets had their team was fine enough.
I thought it
With
was
LeVert
fine. I
and
actually
John
thought it
sliding.
was. I almost
Look,
thought it was
I don't
better.
blame them for trading for Harden, because having a duo like that, like an offensive trio like that, I think it's the most. I mean, it's all time in terms of like just.
It might be the
Right.
best. It's probably the best offensive trio of all time. Probably.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Mhm.
So for them to go for something like that, I don't blame them. But at the same time, I guess I have to wait to see if they get Drummond and Shumpert ends up being, good for them, and maybe they'll sign somebody else. But until then, I think they should have kept LeVert and Prince and Allen and all those other guys.
Oh, 100% in my mind.
Mhm.
But the reason I say that is because of the picks that they give up, right?
Yeah.
So you basically give up your future. So you're gambling that those 3 guys are going to
Mhm.
stay there
Right.
until
That's
you
true.
have
Mhm.
picks to rebuild, right?
Right.
If that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
you're in trouble. I mean,
Right.
they're gonna go from great to terrible real fast.
They're gonna look like Brooklyn from like 20. I don't know. Basically after
14
Jason
or
Kidd.
yeah.
Jason
Yep.
Kidd left, and before KG and
Mhm.
Pierce came, Joe Johnson and them.
Oh, that yeah, earlier in what I said, but yeah.
Yeah.
They're making a win now mentality right now.
Yeah.
Gambling everything right now. They
Mhm.
gambled the team essentially.
Well,
They
yeah,
gambled the
Basically.
future.
They
I
gambled the franchise, to be honest.
Right. Mhm.
I
Facts.
was like when they got KD right and Kyrie, I was like, okay, yeah, like when we want to win, probably not this year. I didn't think they want to win this year because it was
Right.
Durant's first year back. So I was like, okay, maybe the year after this year. And then they traded for
Mhm.
Harden. I'm like, oh, they're going all in this year. They want to win now.
I mean,
TJ.
but then again, do you think the Harden trade was the franchises, the front offices thinking, or do you think they're just what's it called? Just listening to what KD and Kyrie wanted? You think that played a part in them trading for Harden? Because
I
I mean,
mean,
there are people are saying
yeah.
that KD was recruiting Harden a lot.
Right. And making a move like that secures him for, a longer future, I think, if you have
Yeah,
two
maybe
superstars,
yeah, exactly. So maybe them trading for Harden was probably making them think it was safe to say that Kyrie and KD would probably stay a little longer.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
that's what I'm saying is like I can make that same argument with Kawhi and PG.
Yeah.
Kawhi
Mhm.
came because PG was there, so they probably thought, oh, as long as we keep PG, Kawhi stays, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that might not be the case now. We see that now. Kawhi could
Yeah.
just be holding out, right, for money.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
typically that's what players do is you renegotiate a new contract at the end, and then like by that point there's TV deals, TV money that kicked in, blah blah blah, and you can get more.
Right.
But so I
Right.
can make that argument that yes, that may be why they did it, but it ultimately comes down to, like, with all organizations and all sports, is like, do you want to gamble for now? Do you want to throw all your eggs in one basket right now? Or do you want to play it out with what you have and see? Because and I get it. Like LeBron, like a lot of teams he goes to, they are all right now. Always.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
every time LeBron goes to a team, the entire team gets traded. And you bring in relevant players that know how to win right now. That's just
Right.
the case.
Right.
'Cause that's the kind of like thing that is the demeanor he brings, is I want to win now. I'm here to win now. I'm a player that can get you to a championship, a title, at least to the championship right now if you give me these players. So that's what they do. So I wonder about that. I wonder if that's kind of where they're going. Well, obviously that's where they're going, but I wonder if it's worth it, or if it's going to be worth it down the road. But we'll
Right.
see.
Mm-hmm.
We got time for one last topic. So let's talk a little bit about the one and done rule. Is this something the NBA needs to keep up, or should they abolish it, or should they prolong it?
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like I said before, I think what Jordan said about them being entitled super early at such a young age, they don't really focus on the game itself, and they end up not living up to their potential or the standard that people hold them up to. So I think they should not have it. I don't know, because there's always generational players that come out of high school, like Howard and Kobe and who else?
LeBron.
LeBron. My bad. Sorry. I was thinking older players. I don't know, retired players. Sorry. KG came out of high school. So it's just like those guys obviously came out of high school.
Didn't Kareem come out of high school?
No, he went to UCLA. I'm pretty sure.
Why don't you just shut up, bro?
Isn't he West Unseld? No. Say less. Say less podcast.
Say less.
But yeah, I don't know. Just like, I mean, like Andrew Wiggins. When he's coming out of Kansas, everybody's saying he's the next Kobe. I mean, he was the next. He's Mike, Dominique Wilkins, whatever you want to say. He was like, that was his standard, and he hasn't lived up to it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he has time to. I mean, he's still pretty young. But guys like Karl Anthony Towns, like, he's been with the Timberwolves for 5 years now, and he signed a big contract, and they haven't made a playoffs ever since Butler left, and they only made the playoffs because of Butler. So I don't know. I just feel like if you have guys coming out of high school and getting endorsement deals and all that other stuff, it's just like it's too much for them.
I'm going to check you on that. I'm going to check you on that Kareem.
Oh, the Kareem thing, bro. I'm pretty sure he went to UCLA, bro.
All right. Well, let me talk on this while he does this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I know I was right, bro. So just shut up next time.
Yeah, Luau Sundor. I got the name wrong too. My bad.
Man.
My bad.
Idiot. What a doofus.
God, dude.
Yikes. I was not prepared for that one.
Short.
My ass handed to me.
Yep. Short in height and short in knowledge, bro. All right. So you guys know this. I think that this should not be a thing. I don't think they should be forced to go to college. And that's strictly just because I think if you want to gamble on yourself, you should be allowed to. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea, but if you think you're good enough, fine. There are players that we know, like everybody knows, they're going to the NBA and they're going to be great. Like we just know Zion. Everybody knew that was going to happen, bro. Like barring injury, these guys are going to be great. But that's something you got to look at, bro, because that's something they've got to consider, right? Do I want to gamble on myself to go and be great, not just be great, but not get hurt? And you have to make that money, right? Because you don't make that money, what do you have to fall back on? You don't have
right.
Some of these guys, they do gamble on that, but and they don't win. But I just think it's their choice. It's their freedom to do that if they want to. And we've talked in the past about comparing it to like college football, who has 3 years.
Yeah.
College football has 3 years because football is like a way different sport. It's so much more physical than basketball.
Yeah.
You need to be a grown individual, develop, because you're gonna get to the NFL playing with big boys. Those
Right.
they will hit you hard and they will hurt you if you're not ready.
Yep.
The NBA is not that much. I think it would be very beneficial for a lot of players to go longer, and I would be curious to figure out, like, look at a stat to see how long players spent in college, and then versus how well they did in the NBA, right? You know, to see if there's any correlation between your years in college and how you perform.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my thought on that.
Yep. I agree. You know, they should have the option, but they shouldn't be forced to play in college if they don't want to, and
Right.
you know, miss out on playing in the NBA and growing into a superstar and making millions. You know.
And then another avenue we have to talk about, but we can't talk about in this episode, is the money the NCAA makes off of them. But that's all we have time for tonight. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. This is our first episode. Hopefully you liked it. I'm sure we all had fun. We had a great time.
I had a great time.
Yeah, it was
Good
great.
questions. Good
yeah,
talks. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys all next week. Peace.